Hello, I'm Elspeth, the painting healer. Welcome back to my channel. Today is another beautiful, balmy summer's afternoon in Detroit, Michigan, and I'm excited to paint today's person of interest, Jean-Michel Basquiat, the artist. Coincidentally, we share a birthday, December 22nd. We also both lived in Brooklyn. I visited his gravestone about 15 years ago, and I put a little acorn on top of it. And that might be the extent that I know about Basquiat. I love his work, I love his energy, and that's mainly what I screamed for. I was thinking of all the different celebrities I could look into this week, and I thought about Andy Warhol, but actually I didn't really want to go into his energy. I want higher than that. High vibration, positive, delicious energy. And that's what I found with Basquiat. So meet me on the page and let's go see what he would like to share with us. Okay. All right, let's open the call with Jean-Michel Basquiat. I feel very excited. I was gonna say honored and privileged to be with his company, but yeah, I do. Even though, I guess I choose who I'm gonna look into, so. But I do get a level of permission when I'm looking into whose energy I'm gonna dive into. So, for what that's worth, I feel very honored. And just to make sure I see things clearly, I'm gonna get my glasses. A new feature. 43 is reading glasses. Okay, let's dive in. All right, first of all, I would like to talk about a little montage of images that I started receiving just in the last hour or so, knowing that I was going to be painting Basquiat. I'm going to start with his hair and just sort of an outline. Yeah, I think the very first couple of things were his sister. Immense love for his sister, feeling very close to her still. And pickles, the best pickles in town. Like getting this good pickle. I can see like the mustard seeds in the jar and just a spear of this like a classic kosher dill pickle that was just the best, in his opinion, the best, in or near Coney Island, down that way. Also seeing frozen custard, Coney Island. And something about the pickle, it's like he had favorite spots. He loved having this sort of little markers, like I'm meeting up with a friend. Oh yeah, that's close by to where this favorite food is. He loved, he was very in tune with his senses. He liked to turn the volume up on life. He loved to taste the intensity, the sour, the sweet, the salt. Hearing strong beats, music that you could feel beating through your chest. He loved that. Okay, so I'm just getting sort of glimpses of New York in the late 70s, early 80s. There's Keith Haring. There's like bare knees through torn denim, and I feel it's like a point of view from him looking down on his knees. He's younger, he's about 15, and he's already sort of out in the jungle. He's out in New York. It's like summertime, and he's exploring. He's on the subway, and he feels free. He feels somewhat sort of unattended, like he has sort of command over his time today. Let's see. Yeah, so I'm just getting like little glimpses, and I'm trying to keep up because they're quite fast. So his bare knee poking through denim, like denim shorts, ripped, cut off, and he's feeling playful, excited, carefree, just buoyant, just he's having fun. Sensing like some sort of substance. God, I almost wanted to say like paint, or you know, paint fumes or glue or something. He's a little bit high. I don't know if it's even just like a beer or something. I'm seeing those old Schlitz cans, but just sort of, it doesn't take much to excite him. He's sort of freewheeling in this moment. And then I'm also seeing, so it's funny, I'm painting this picture that he looks kind of serious, sort of posed. When I paint his lips, I can see like there's a tenderness. These lips are made for kissing people. Like even just on the forehead, like he's a lover. He never saw himself as a really old man. He was driven. Yeah. And let's see, I want to go back. All right, seeing like a long black Pontiac, like a long car, like sort of walking through the street and dodging cars sort of parking on the side of the street. It's kind of dangerous. There's like fast traffic and yeah, like these whales of cars having a hard time parking, parallel parking, especially with him sort of bobbing and weaving in between the cars, crossing, jaywalking. Cigarettes. I feel like he always had a cigarette on him or in his pockets. He always, actually he didn't even need to buy them. There was always someone around that would give him a cigarette. It's just sort of like, feels like he's sensing where is the adventure, like sniffing out where's the adventure, where are we headed tonight, what's the sort of mission tonight. It's funny. I'm drawn to this color and nothing is coming off the brush. It's like, is it too old? Could be. Maybe it just needs a brush with a bit more friction. There's something, not feisty, a little bit anxious about his energy in this sort of memory. There's something like in a rush. Just like there's so much that he wants to accomplish, and it feels like a burden that he is impatient. he doesn't need to know how it's all, like what to do, but he feels a volume that wants to come through him, and he needs to accomplish it. And he, just like I'm having, I'm trying to keep up with his energy and the images and flashes and sounds. He's trying to keep up with all the work that wants to come through him. Oh, bloody hell. It's exciting. It's the life force moving through him. But it's also, it's hard to keep his head straight. He's got split focus, and I think that's why he needs extra sort of grounding. Like, you know, I'm seeing red wine and really like needing to sort of sedate himself sometimes. He's got such high, strong energy. It's full on, and it feels like the speakers are loud in his chest, and the energy wants to come out. And it feels good to be energetic and paint on a large scale. The physicality, sorry, trying to keep up. Blah, 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 blah. The physicality of painting on large scale, and there's running as well. It's like tagging and running. Yeah, I'm seeing him and Keith Haring in running in similar circles, like they're kindred spirits. So I'm not sure that they're really like, you know, working together or anything at this point, but they're aware of each other and sort of egging each other on. And maybe they, look, I have not prepared by like learning. I don't want that to get in the way of the flow, so I hope that it lines up. But I'm seeing like subways and like doing a tag and running off, and like the exhilaration of like jumping back on the train and not getting caught, and passing on messages and sort of communicating with each other. Not just him and Keith Haring, but that they're aware of each other and each other's presence. And it almost feels like cats spraying a wall. Like, this is, I've been here, I was here. That is not eloquent, but yet territorial in a proud sense, in a communication sense. Nothing threatening whatsoever, just very playful, like some sort of underground mischief. Yeah, I'm also seeing there's a tension with the need to accomplish, the need to produce, the need to express and communicate and connect, but also escalating and accelerating upwards. So then I'm hearing the clink of champagne glasses, and I'm feeling a starched white collar around his neck. And although it feels like he's arrived, like it's beautiful, it's a beautiful feeling. It's like being tucked into clean sheets, like wearing these clothes, but it also feels constrictive. It feels like he's an artwork in a frame and he doesn't want to be framed. He wants to be on a wall, in the public setting, in with the living, in with the daily life, seen by people that don't appreciate art. He wants to be acknowledged by his people. And I'm seeing that even though it feels exciting to be like an explorer in other worlds that his ancestors were not able to break through. It feels icky, and he's feeling cautious about not being exploited. He wants to represent, and he wants to be visible, and he wants to experience. He wants to have all the experiences, but he also wants to be received in the right way. He really is, he's beautiful. He is physically beautiful, and he knows that that opens doors for him. And he doesn't know if he likes it or not, because it allows him to have experiences that he wants, and it also maybe sabotages experience that he wants to have. Like, he wants to be taken seriously. He wants to be really received as a true artist, not as a novelty. He wants his work to both matter and to be not meaningless, but to like, not parody, just he wants to be lighthearted and like to throw it away at the same time. The importance of it, the seriousness, and also the disposability of it. He doesn't want to be precious with his art. He's a little reckless with his life, and it's almost like he counteracts the beauty that people see in him physically by sort of trashing his body a little bit. I'm feeling like the word abandonment of responsibility, shaking off any expectations for himself as a man, shaking off any, he's tuning into a collective identity. He's tuning into, there's something to do with masculinity, and he feels very in touch with his femininity as well. He's very balanced, and now I'm seeing that he's very spiritual as well. He's in tune with his own spirit and his own sense of the universe, and he's a wise soul, but very playful. It's almost like the older his spirit is, the more lighthearted he felt he could be on earth in this life. He was here to reflect back, and why convene and connect? I'm not sure what that really means. The absurdity of it all. And I think that's where he found like-minded friendships in the time that he was working. He was very affected by the presence of AIDS in the community in New York. And he could feel just the extreme energy of sex and death in his community, in his city. He was a son of the city. He felt very connected to the soul of New York, to the spirit of New York. I'm also seeing a previous lifetime as a warrior. In combat, and a very skilled hunter. And so part of his quest in this life was he wanted to explore a different side of life and sort of challenge himself to be more light and to interact and experience being in different social spheres and to blur the lines there, so that he knew that he was like opening a valve culturally, and that he'd be very important in a cultural shift. And because of his beauty and the ability that he had to speak to all sorts of different people through his art, that they could easily connect into it. There was a fine-tuning that was taking place, and he was part of that. He was drawing in people from pop culture and high culture, and there was a melting pot with the highbrow and the lowbrow. And he enjoyed being sort of like a Peter Pan sort of figure, or I don't know if Robin Hood, but that's sort of a character. Like he didn't feel that he belonged there, but he was like the prince of the ball, the belle of the ball. Yeah, that's interesting. Basquiat, the belle of the ball. It was something that he came to resent also. He was like a rock star. And actually, to a lesser degree, but I am seeing a similarity, and maybe Kurt Cobain admired Basquiat, but I am seeing a similarity in mission and in character to bridge the divide from the high class to the lower class and the socio-economic. And although his work was quite accessible to the untrained eye, to people that were not intellectuals in the art scene, it had heart in it, and basic energy. It had a pulse to it, had energy, and he was able to distill his spirit and his gusto and express that, and express the times, and exude joy. And everyone could understand that. He spoke a language, a visual language, that everyone could understand, that had never really been spoken. He was really inventing his own language, and people were picking up what he was putting down. That was his success. He was a communicator and reminding people of themselves and bringing sort of a like a tribal, like a spiritual connection back. As the world was becoming kind of artificial and capitalized, and he was in the epicenter of that, he was bringing back this grassroots, very heart-centered, energetic work that connected people with basic feelings of joy and, well, anger as well. He was also channeling anger, and just there's a lot of energy, passion. I guess that would be a good one. Passion, anger plus love plus joy plus frustration, aggression, very not sympathetic, very compassionate. A lot of his the grief that he felt was really absorbed. He was absorbing pain around him. It was like ancestral, like not even generational, but ancestral. He could feel it all, and he was expressing it all and communicating it all, and it thrilled him but also disturbed him that it was in vogue, that as he gained popularity, it kind of posed a problem, and he started to feel kind of stuck from that. It could have been an elixir. It could have stamped out his sort of creative will. It was at odds. He felt like he couldn't relax and enjoy himself too much, or rest on his laurels, because he was doing this very delicate dance of being like the anarchist, but also the belle of the ball. And he also wanted to just sort of have a day at Coney Island with his sister, have that perfect pickle and frozen custard, and enjoy those simple things. He wished he could have had more balance in his life. He would have loved to have been an old wise man, but he was here on assignment. This was like a freelance gig, and it was he knew going in that it was going to be brief but powerful, unsustainable really, but it required everything from him. And this lifetime meant so much to him. His heart just feels so full from this experience and all of the countless lives he touched. He knows that one of his biggest accomplishments came after his death, was that his reach to still inspire and enrich countless hearts, it continues. He loves the Brooklyn Museum. It's one of his haunts. And he loves his sister, and he spends a lot of time with her, and is really excited for the work she's doing. Gee, I'm excited to know what the work she's doing is too. I'd like to add just a bit more detail around the eyes. Really beautiful eyes here, really beautiful. I'm seeing like a lion's heart, big open eyes. There's a quality of openness, but also don't come any closer. There's open heart, but not fully available in terms of relationship. And I'm seeing his dad here too. Closer to his mum. Family tragedy with his family, with his parents. I think not being able to relax as a child is part of what gave him the gumption to, he's sort of like a free spirit, like he has nothing to lose, but also he's scared to lose what little he has, and that sort of held him back sometimes. Sometimes he really had to, get drunk or get high to get out of his own way to release those limiting fears. Because he wanted to experience great heights. And he did. Beautiful. He did have love in his life. He was very, very loved, and he could feel that. He could feel that he was very loved. Sort of in a... He got so much energy from the collective love. He could feel it. It was very palpable. He knew that he was an ambassador, and I think that was also part of the friction, was that he was here on behalf of many thousands of souls, and yet he was being offered experiences that would satisfy his own ego, and that was sort of a tough balance sometimes, because sometimes he did want relief and he did want to escape and he did want to just enjoy the spoils. But he was a man of integrity. Integrity was very important to him. But yeah, there was a bit of a struggle. It was a bit of a struggle because other people had no problem exploiting or indulging excess. His work was spiritual and full of heart. He was so connected to the divine when he was in the throes of working on a painting, or just even tagging on the subway. He felt electric. It's where he got his sparkle. It was a real thrill. He's just so damn proud of his sister and the work that she is doing. He is so proud of her. Really admires her and supports her energetically so much. And in the spirit world, he has aged. He is a beautiful older man. And he's shepherding on so many young people, so many young men, and guiding them. And he's still he's still playing with Keith Haring up there. Making their little dents on the world down here and working in tandem like fireflies. All right, I'm going to leave it here and then I'm going to let it dry and finesse details, and I'll put it up on my Instagram and Etsy. Thank you so much for tuning in today. This really has been a beautiful treat, and now of course I want to go and look up some details about Basquiat. Let's see if any of that is true. All right, much love. I'll see you next time. Bye.